Hey everybody, and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to put this Premna into a bonsai pot. And this right now it's in an incredibly old crusty 8-inch bulb pan. And the tree is kind of old and crusty. So the history of this tree, I want to give you a little history of this tree. In 2019 I took a cutting and I rooted it out, and in 2020 I put it in the ground and it grew to 6 feet high. And then I cut it back to just here so you can see the scar right there. That was the tree, 6 feet high. So all I had was this little part. I also had a lower branch that I thought I was going to use as the apex right here, but it worked out with the way the roots were. It was in exactly the wrong place. So I cut it away too. So now I have two huge scars. And then in 2020, 2021, oh wait a minute, which one was it? 2021, 2022, and 2023. I let it just go crazy like it is now. But it was even more. It was almost like a bowling ball in 2021. Then I cut that all the way back. And all I saved was like this little tiny chunk right here. And then in 2022 I saved just another tiny little pieces. And then in 2023, same thing. And now I'm ready to put it into a bonsai pot. I'm going to turn the camera off and zoom in because I can't zoom with the camera on. So I'm going to turn it off and zoom in so we can get a better look at this baby. Much better. So I'm going to put this into a round pot because I'm just not quite sure of the front. This would make a very interesting front, but you sort of see the scar. If we spin it like this, the roots are coming right at you, but that would also make a nice front. And then even in here, this would make an interesting front too. Come up into here and up into here. So right now I'm going to put it into a round pot. But there are some things that I can take off that I absolutely know are not going to be part of the design. And that is all this lower stuff. None of that, regardless of where the front is going to be included in the design. And then the rest of this leggy growth just really needs to be shortened. And this branch here is on the inside of a curve, so we're going to take him out completely. And we'll probably use concave cutters to do that. And there's also another branch coming right out of the same place that we're going to take away. There's another little guy right here that we don't want. Use the concave cutters. Take him out. Okay. And then just shorten everything else up. Alright, there we go. Here's another little branch that we don't want because we've already got a branch above it. It's going to be one of our main branches. So there you be. And like I said, there's a number of different fronts. This might make an interesting front. First main branch, second main branch, apex up into here. This would make an interesting front. First main branch, second main branch. Even though the scars are visible. So that's why I'm going to put it in a round pot. So as usual, whenever I put a pre-bonsai into a pot, I usually choose 3 or 4. So let me bring this guy back a little bit. And I've got 4 different pots, so all different sizes. This one is very deep and probably is just too big. Then I've got this one, which would probably work quite nicely, but it's probably a little too small, especially as far as depth. And a lot of times when I'm doing a bonsai pot brand new, a bonsai tree into a pot brand new, I like to overpot, so give it a little more room. And then we have this one here, which I think is just about perfect. And then we have this one here, which is, if we take this guy and we put him on top, it's the same exact diameter, but this pot is considerably deeper. As you can see, this pot is, even though it's on a lot of feet, it's still deeper than this pot here. So Premna root really easily, and there's definitely a correlation between being able to root as a cutting and being able to take pretty severe root pruning. So at this point, I'm leaning towards this guy because I think that would really make a beautiful display. And if not, if the roots underneath are just way too big, there's some oak leaves, but I don't see a lot of big roots under there. I should be able to get it into this pot here. And the beauty of a round pot is you can choose whatever front you want. And as I've said in other videos, round pots like this one has 3 feet, so you can have the front with 2 feet showing, or you can have the front with 1 foot showing. And I almost always choose the 2 feet. So I'm still going to choose, quote unquote, a front, although it's not going to be hard and fast. So then the next thing to do is to prepare the pot, because the drain hole needs to be covered. Get some bonsai soil and my root hook and begin to remove the ambient soil off of this guy, which is just landscape mix. I grow virtually all my pre-bonsai in landscape mix. And then we'll get started putting them into that pot. And if it doesn't really work with that pot, then we'll use this one. It's a little gaudy, but it'll still work. And it doesn't have to stay in that pot. A year or two of being in this pot, it could very easily be changed into a different pot. So I'm going to go get my root hook and my soil and my mesh, and I'll be back. Hopefully that's the same zoom level. Whenever I turn the camera off, it reverts. So that looks pretty close now. So the first order of business is to get all this ambient soil off of here and see what we're up against as far as roots. And the way I remove the soil off of roots can be called anything but gentle. Oh, we have some circling roots. Here we go. Some circling roots way down deep. And I don't want any of that. And since we're going to put it into the smaller pot, we need to get rid of that stuff anyway. So, chop it to there. Chop all these guys off. One more. Okay, that looks pretty good, although it's still quite large compared to the pot. Still pretty healthy. So let's continue. We're going to try to get it into that pot. And I'm looking like it may not go into that pot. Because we've got some really heavy roots right here that may need to be cut. Let me get this baby into there. Well, it's starting to fit. Well, we can sort of jam it in there right now, so I think we're going to make it. Need to take off this portion here. Chop that. I can't do it with the scissors. Chop this major root here. And I'm not overly concerned about some of this drastic moves because, like I said, Premna's root so easily from cuttings. And so they also respond to a pretty heavy root pruning without really any problem. Yeah, look at that root there. Okay, let's see where we're going here. Oh, hey, look at that. Fits. Oh man, I think that's going to be gorgeous. Oh, that is so nice. Got a little weed. Got a funky little root here that's can go. Okay, I think we're ready. And once again, I'm just, like in other videos, I'm just using window screen. And I also don't really want to make a mound. I don't want the tree way up here, because if you make a mound with the soil, with this really grainy bonsai soil, it's just going to wash away when you water. So it appears as though, like that's right at the very bottom of the pot. So it looks like I can put some soil at the base. And then I guess I'll do the 2 feet as the front and just arbitrarily choose this front like here. We got a renegade root that needs to go back like that. And I realize as the front, this root coming right at you is not perfect, but I love the movement on this tree. It's going to be a really cool little tree. And then typically, when I'm doing my soil, that you can't hardly even see it because I've zoomed in too much. So let's just zoom out a little bit. It's like peekaboo. That pot's a little bit too big. This is actually a hospital container, and my dad lived with me before he died, and so I have a whole stack of these because he was in and out of the hospital all the time. But we probably don't want to go there. Less than 10 years since he passed. Hard to believe. But back to bonsai. When I'm adding soil to a tree, I like to have the container of soil below. So I put the pot basically right above the container. So if any falls away, it just lands back in the container. Alright. The finished product. Let's get this guy out of here. And the clippers and the other and the concaves. And there you go. What I believe is going to be just an exquisite little tree. Already it looks pretty cool. And now we just have to imagine it, you know, about this high and about this wide with this massive trunk and the cool taper and movement. And I'm really going to enjoy this tree. I think I'm going to really have fun developing this tree. So thanks for watching. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment if you'd like. And subscribe. And then I will be posting updates on this guy pretty regularly. So when you hit the notification bell, you can read the title of the video I've posted and you can watch this guy develop. And the pot that I wanted fit beautifully. So this is just really going to be a nice tree. I'm just already loving it. So that's all for this video. We're actually supposed to get some rain, but I don't know. They went from 50% a few days ago to 70% a couple days ago to 50% yesterday, and now this morning only 20. So good luck with that. So much for forecasting. But thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. I added an addendum because I totally forgot to talk about aftercare. So this tree was, when it was in the training pot, it was growing in basically full sun. But now it's going to go into shade and protect it from the wind too. The wind is probably worse than too much sun. It also got a little bit of fertilizer, and I'm going to water it well. And then, you know, there's a certain convalescence, but Premna are tough trees, so. And did you notice something? I changed the front. And actually, this may be the front because I'm kind of liking the way it moves. But aftercare is important when you've done a major root pruning on a tree. Like, I would never do this with any temperate tree like ilex shillings or junipers this time of year, 22nd of April. No way, that needs to be done middle of winter, beginning of winter, January, end of December, January. But Premna is fairly tropical, and so this guy's going to, like I said, they're tough too, they're tough trees. So he's going to do well, but I definitely wanted to mention the aftercare. No full sun, water regularly, and probably most importantly, keep it out of the wind. So there's finally the end of the video.